Good morning and welcome to Fat Cow Farm. Now here we are back at the orchard and we're bending some pipes for the new high tunnel, hoop house, greenhouse, whatever way you want to call it. It's just fantastic, I'm loving it. Now, like everything else here at Fat Cow Farm, I needed it to be a little bit different. Now, all the other high tunnels that I've seen out on the marketplace were like igloos, just like big semicircles. And I thought, that's okay. I get the gist, but I wanted to have some extra angles put into what we're doing here at Fat Cow Farm. Now, what's happened is that I've put in some flat sections as a part of our hoop, and you could probably see that just there. Now, what's happened is that me putting in that little flat section has given me extra height, which is exactly what I was hoping it was going to happen. But the consequence being is that I had to bring in my hoop house 100 mil. So instead of 5 meters, I'm now at 4 meters 90. So 100 mil here, 100 mil there, it all works out the same. But what I wanted to achieve was to run some high crops through the middle. Hence I wanted that extra height. So what I want to do is show you how I'm bending these pipes. So come with me and I'll see you soon. Okay, now before I start showing you how to start bending pipe, I wanted to explain to you what I'm actually using. Now, this is just from our metal merchant down the road. Now, what we're looking at is an inch, 35 mil diameter pipe. Now, this is what they said to me was a light galvanizing, okay? And I think that that's all got to do with the thickness of the steel. Now, this here is 1.3 mil. Now, I imagine there's 1,000 different other thicknesses and everything else out there, but I sort of wanted to have the idea that, yes, it certainly needs to be galvanized because we're going to be dealing with humidity, rain, weather, environment, and everything else. But also, what concerned me was about the bending process. Now, at 1.3 mil, I'm bending it, all right? So, and I have to use some extra leverage to get that squared off. Now, I would think that this is pretty much the maximum, maybe a 1.4, 1.5 if you went up to a next gauge in galvanizing, but you're really starting to notice it now. So what I would be thinking is that 1.3, a light galvanized pipe, that's all it is. And I'll explain the bender itself because I've picked that up from Active Vista. They're a little mob who specialise in greenhouses down in Tasmania, of all places. Fantastic, mate. So they're kicking goals down there in the colder weather, and it's very similar to here, but obviously in summer, we're a lot warmer. So we had to think about ventilation as well, but I'll get to that a little bit later. So come with me up to the back of the tractor. I want to show you the bender. We're going to mark out some measurements on the pipe to get the extra height that we wanted as a part of that flat section that we were talking about before. So until then, I'll see you soon. Okay then, so this is the bender from Active Vista. Now, this particular one is perfectly arced for a 5 meter hoop in width. Okay, so I think there's a 1,000 different benders out there on the market. There are some for 6 foot hoops and so on and so on and so on. So I wanted a larger width base, so hence I went the 5 meters. Now, as you can see here, what they have is a little leverage point that your pipe will sit into, and then you can just bend it down. Now, obviously you're not going to do that by hand. So what we need to do is fasten this to something secure. Now, what I'm doing is I'm fastening this to the carryall at the back of the tractor, and then I can lever it backwards and get that arc right. So let me set this up. I'll put it back onto the carryall, and I'll see you soon. All right, so here we are. Fastened the bender back onto the carryall. Now, the instructions say that to get the arc, basically what we need to do is put the pipe right at the end of the leverage point, and then you're constantly following that arc. Now, of course, like everything else, I thought, oh geez, I wanted something a little bit different. and I wanted a little bit more height and how to achieve that height. So what I've done is I've got 5 bends per pipe. Now I've worked that out. Now these poles are 2.4 long. All right, so then basically what I've done is I've then calculated back. So I've got 5 bends, that gives me 480 mil per bend that I can then use that off the leverage point. Now, at the ends, I've reduced that in half. So I've got 240 at one end and 240 at the other. And that has given me the extra height that I wanted on the rake of the on the hoop. So what I'm going to do is I'll just quickly mark out these last 3 hoops. I'll bend them up, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'll see you soon. Okay, so I was even confusing myself before. So what I thought I'd do is I'll just show you the process of how I'm marking everything out. Remembering we've got 5 bends. Now on my first bend, I've got from the end of the pipe to the first mark at 240 mil. Now from my first mark to my second mark is 480. 480, 480, and then that will leave me with 240 at the end. All right, and that 240 at the end, plus the next hoop, gives me 480 of flat section that I wanted for the extra height that we needed. So, let me bend them up. I'll show you what I'm talking about, and we'll go from there. I'll see you soon. Okay, so, got my first mark on the outside of the leverage point, 240 mil. Now, when you go to bend them, you just got to make sure it all sits nice and straight. Once you're happy, bring that in, and that's bend number 1. Now bend number 2 is your next 480 mil, just on the outside of that leverage point. Make sure it's nice and straight. Bring it in, that's bend number 2. Now bend number 3 again, another 480 mil. There it is. There's my mark. Now this one gets really, really stiff because this is the middle of the hoop. So what I've done is, as a part of joining up the process, I've got these little joiners, I suppose you could call them. Now these are about 32 mil, and they slide up and down the pipe really easily. So like so. So I'm just going to put one into place. I'm going to grab one of the spare posts. This will give me the extra leverage that I want. All right. That's all straight. Touch the bottom, all good. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is now flip it over, bend the other 2 points, and our hoop is done. Let me get to it. All right, I'll just transfer that mark across. 240 mil, and the next one at 480. Now what I'm finding is that I'm getting already super close. It just needs a little tweak. There's our next one. Nice and straight, and done. So that's the arc that we need. We've got 3 of these per hoop. We join them all together and away we go. So let me bend the others. I'll show you how we join them up, and we're all done. I'll see you soon. Okay, so what we've got is our hoop all laid out. Now we needed to be able to join the 2 or all the pieces together. So what we have here is what we were using before as our little extension. So that just needs to slide in about halfway. And then we're just going to put a little tech screw in so we can make sure that that's all positioned. Like so. Now that's in. Now what we're going to do is then position everything together, and then we'll give it a little bit of flex, and we'll tie it up into the Rio bar. Now I think that this is pretty much the easiest way to do it. I've been mucking around with different concepts and screwing it all together and whatnot. What's happening is that the whole thing will start flexing for you, and then it all becomes too hard to undo. So what we do is we just put our joiners in, we'll put it all together, flex it nice and tight, we'll put it over the Rio bar, and we'll go from there. So I'll get my handy helper to help me out for the minute. On your Mads, and then we'll go from there. So let me get it hooked up, and I'll see you soon. Well, welcome back. Here we are. We've done our 3 bends of 2.4 pipe to give us our full radius of 7.2. Mate, we're home and host. We've connected everything up. We've joined our arches together. So we've only got another 100 to do, but that's okay. So what more can I say? All about bending your own pipe for your hoop house, hot house, greenhouse, whatever you want to call it. Like and subscribe. I'll see you soon.